All right. Hi. We are going live on YouTube, and I just don't even know if I want to go live on Instagram because I got shadow banned. So now I don't even know if I want to do that on there anymore. Anyway, I'm going to do it because I love being able to connect with people in the ways that people love being connected with. So, hello everybody, it's me, Vei Darling, your intergalactic interpreter and cosmic queen. I'm switching the focus of my videos over to YouTube because I am tired of the nonsense. I'm tired of the censorship, honestly. So we're gonna keep doing them on this thing for a little while, but then we're gonna be moving completely over to YouTube because we're divesting, and it's very important that we, as a society, do that work of divesting. So that being said, let's introduce ourselves to what we're about to be doing here. And more than anything, let's give thanks, let's give gratitude, let's ground ourselves. All right. Beautiful decks. And then I just will get into the charts a little bit. Let's talk about what we're talking about, right? So my name is Vei Darling. I am an oracle, an ethereal being, a light interpreter, and I do shadow work as well. And so if you're interested in readings, you know where to hit me. You can DM me, you can call me, you can text me. If I know you, don't hit me up if you don't know me on my phone, but you can DM me for sure. You can text me or email me rather, sorry. But yeah, this is going to be super exciting because this is my first time doing this on this channel, on this Instagram page, because I now am using Vei Darling at VeiDarling. Who would have ever thought? I was using it on TV before, and I think that I'm in a real place of transition where I kind of want to use something that's a little bit more attuned to who I am, and my focus is on art, is on creativity. So we're back to just the bare basics. No more trying. No more trying so hard. And I think that's a big lesson that we are learning in this ascension is we've got to stop trying so hard, you know? We're in a new astral year, which means like the world's gonna start to reflect what we've been going through. And that's kind of how this works, is like that's how we come to see things manifest. And so if you have a manifestation practice, I do a lot of guidance on manifestation practices, something that I've figured out pretty well how to work with manifestation. And I understand it inherently. I'm very, very good at manifesting things. And that is because I have spent a very long time studying it. And I've really gotten into the fundamentals of manifestation, and what I've come to find that it's really, that is where the magic happens, is in the fundamentals. It is in the essence, in the spirit of whatever it is you're creating. So we see this come out really a lot with, a mission statement. Like, what is our company's ethics? What is our company's mission? There is, like, astrology can be, and all spirituality can be applied to absolutely everything, because it is the essence of what we are, is our spirit. And those of us who are ethereal beings, are more grounded in spirit generally. So we're all getting to a place where that's where we ought to be leading from. But moving on, let's get into what decks I'm using. I have here Tarot del Fuego. I have here Cosmic Tarot. And I have here Work Your Light Oracle deck. I'm going to be pulling from all of them. Different points in this reading, but as this is a reading for these Taurus these movements in Taurus that we're experiencing, the sun entering Taurus and the new moon in Taurus, we're going to be talking about that. And it seems like it's a very important conversation to be had around manifestation with this moon, which makes sense because Taurus season is a big time of seeing the fruits of our labor. It's about pushing through and just getting to that sweet spot of like, okay, we got what we want. Now, what are we going to do with it? How are we going to move with it? We're going to be gaining a new perspective throughout all of this. And that's generally how this goes. So let's pull a card, shall we? Protection. Call back your power, cut the cords. I actually drew this card yesterday, and as y'all saw, I definitely shuffled this deck. So I think that it's very much a symptom of the times, because we are in an ascension season. And that's why throughout the past astral year, we keep talking about letting go of that which no longer serves us. So if we were holding on to anything, that was keeping us from elevating into this next part of our lives, this new space that we're entering into, because we are in a new space where we are more able to really manifest the world that we want to live in. We are aware now that we can have whatever we want in this world. This is the thing about manifestation that people have to understand. We're manifesting at all times anyway. That's the nature of who we are. We live in an expansive universe. When I think about manifestation, I think about, this is the universe that we live in. It's a give and take. And this is the balance that's created. There's an equal and opposite. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's how balance is maintained. This is a physical law of the universe. So of course it applies to us as well. Understand that is the spiritual, the physical law, and then the spiritual law is karma. As above, so below. All things are existent of one thing. All of this is just a coalescence of energy that's, starts to move a little bit slower as it gets denser. So when we say that, like, we are energetic beings, yeah, everything is energy and matter. Like everything, literally. We set the vibration, we set the tone, we ourselves do this. And from there, things begin to align. Things begin to that match that vibration, that match that tone, start to come to you. So it's very important now to be conscious of the vibration that we are attaching to the things, the words, the material things. We need to be conscious of what vibration we're attaching to them, because it could be, oh, puppies. But for one person, puppies might be a scary thing, whereas for another person, it might be the best thing in the world. And also for one person at different times in their lives. For example, I thought I was a dog until I was like 4 or 5. And then my sisters and I were chased by a dog. And the dog ended up biting one of my sisters on the leg. And from that day forward, I was afraid of dogs until I was 18. And I stayed over at my best friend Ellen's house, and because I had to, and she had a German Shepherd. And I grew to be okay with dogs and realized, actually, I love dogs. I didn't hate them or whatever. I was afraid of them. And now whenever I see a dog, I feel super, super happy. So it's very important that we're conscious of what charge we are attaching to things in our lives. And being conscious of the charges that things naturally bring up in us. Some things are going to instill fear in us, and we have to understand, why is this fear being instilled in me? If you're curious as to how to know about your charge, well, how does it make you feel? This is why we feel, so that we can understand if we align with things or not. And then we talk about Venus, which is associated with Taurus, as it is the ruler of Taurus. Venus is the planet of value and association and relationships, how things relate to one another. There's also a sense of urgency that is created with Venus. That's where we come to understand it as a planet of love. It doesn't necessarily mean love. It could be like. It could also be dislike. You know what I mean? It could be any of these things. It's just a scale of whatever we have a relationship and how we value that thing. Do we value it highly? Do we value being around it highly? If we do, we want to lean into these spaces. So being conscious of our feelings, especially right now, and I think that right now, the situation that we collectively are in is that it's just very, very difficult to imagine a world where we're not very conscious of our surroundings. Because it's really hard for us to escape them as often as we are used to. Most people don't spend most of the day in their home. Most people treat their home as a storage facility and a place where they go to rest. Sorry, but this is your sanctuary. It's your living space. It's your domicile. If you have any autonomy anywhere, it ought to be here. So, people are being confronted with the fact that we really don't understand how to cultivate our spaces. And this is what Taurus season is about. It's about cultivating our spaces. In Aries season, we felt a lot of impulses. There's always an impulse to act with Aries season. And I really encourage most people, give yourself some time to process what you're feeling before you go ahead and act on it. Especially if you're not somebody who is used to feeling feelings. If you're somebody who is only starting to feel feelings and interact with your feelings, this is a good time for you to go ahead and take some pauses before you react to things. Give yourself at least 5 seconds. If you have to count it in your head, then do that with an inhale. 1, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 5, 6, let it go, and exhale all the way out. Push all of the air out of you before you make a decision. I promise you're going to understand that you don't even have time to make that decision. You're going to realize, it's not enough time for me to make a decision. I had to take that whole deep breath. This whole time, I could have been arguing with someone. No, take the deep breath. Ground yourself. And it doesn't always have to be an argument either, because the thing about Mars, Martian energy that we're coming out of Aries season with, the thing about Martian energy is it's about our power. And it's about how we understand our power. So Aries season is about understanding our power. And this is where things get a little bit tricky, because people tend to forget that inaction is still action. So there are a lot of Aries who we may be like, oh, that person doesn't seem like much of an Aries to me. But they are very much an Aries, because they are having all of these impulses that are happening internally. All of this energy that they are cultivating and not acting upon is destroying them internally. What is it doing to them? Well, who knows? This might be the reason why this person is very angry and cantankerous, because they're not acting on their impulses and they have to start fights with people otherwise. It might play out in other forms of other expressions of depression. When you restrict yourself, when you hold yourself down, when you press yourself back, you are depressing yourself. So sometimes you might be experiencing a metamorphosis, and you don't feel sad. You actually feel like invigorated, but you are exhausted. You are sleeping all the time. You don't feel like interacting with anybody, but you don't feel bad about any of this. Sure, some heavy feelings come up, but you don't know. Well, that's because you need to be grounded. You need to dig down and realign yourself with source. Get a nice reset going, and we've been given a good reset. But with this new moon that we're coming into, we are pushing onwards, and we are elevating. And it's going to start happening really quickly, and it's going to start feeling, well, I don't want to say it's going to start feeling really good, because honestly, it does already feel really good. It's very important to stay grounded in the present moment, especially if you are in the throes of an ascension. Stay grounded in the present moment. And if you are having difficulty doing that, meditate. However that is for you. If that's physical exercise for you, do that. If it's stillness meditation, do that. If it's a bath, if it's prayer, if it's journaling, if it's singing, if it's writing music or expressing oneself creatively in any way, do that. But make sure that you're getting out all of the noise that's coming in, because you're picking up a lot of frequencies. Things are rapidly attaching to you. There's a lot of ideas coming in, and you've got to get them out or they will drive you mad. You've got to get them out so that you can pick through them and figure out what is and what isn't, what aligns and what does not, what works with your energy, your essence, your spirit, what works with you versus what is just air. Not everything that comes in has to attach to you. We all have our own truths. We all have our own lives. We all have our own experiences. Get it out of you, because something might be clanging around in your head and it doesn't sit right with you, but you're too afraid to get it out of you. Just say it. Do it. What are you so afraid of? Oh, I see. The social alienation or the punitive measures that will come against you if you do something that deviates from the societal normal. Let me tell you something. With Saturn being in Aquarius, you're just going to have to get used to that. That's what this is about. And if you are not leaning into that experience right now, you are pushing against the current. And that is why you are feeling so much tension. And that is why you're feeling so much resistance. And this is why you're exhausted. And this is why you're tired, because you're not going with the flow. Lean into your transformation. Cut the cords. All those mundane things that you thought were so important and you're now realizing they're not so much. I know. Trust me, you don't want to let it go, but you have to. You have to. Because the universe, the world, and everything in it, I mean, at the end of the day, the universe is going to continue going. At the end of the day, there are billions of people on this planet that don't even know you. So it doesn't matter to them if you decide to live your life for you or not. The people who are around you are either going to get it or they're not. And let me tell you something. I can promise you that you'll get by without them somehow. If they're meant to be in your life, they will be. But if you have to change yourself to have them in your life, then that's a problem. Because at the end of the day, you don't have control over changing yourself. Well, you have control over changing yourself, but as far as your essential energy goes, that's just what it is. Be true to yourself. Follow your heart, because that's your compass in this life. You're not going to be able to find much peace or happiness if you don't just do it. Allow yourself to experience the peace, the joy, the happiness. The reason you don't have any abundance is because you won't allow yourself to. What are all those self-sabotaging narratives? Let's get into it. Ace of Swords. What did I say? New ways of thinking coming in here. We're going to be getting a lot of what we want right now. And what we need to do is be conscious of how we show up for it. Are we going to be gracious and grateful? Or are we going to continue perpetuating a reality that we are not invested in? We know that it's not taking us where we want to go. We know it's taking us nowhere. It's a road to destruction. Are you going to keep on going down that road, or are you going to get real with yourself? Ace of Swords. We've got Venus going retrograde next month on the 13th. It's already in the shadow period in Gemini. Oh, yes, all those heart feels last week. What were the most recent lies you told yourself? All those heart feels last week? What were the most recent illusions you layered upon your consciousness to get through the day? All of those seem to dissolve, right? With this Venus, oh yes, they dissolve. Know this, the constitutional makeup of Venus is that one of, humans would be in hell if we went to Venus. The crushing atmospheric pressure, the roiling heat, we'd be flayed alive. That's all that passion, all that heat, right? So right now, there's no hiding from your passion and heat. There's no hiding from what gets you going. So there's no point in trying to. It's Taurus season, which means Venus is that, we're getting that much more Venusian energy. Mind you, Pisces being a higher vibration, Neptune being a higher vibration of Venus is in its home sign of Pisces. At the start of Taurus season, the moon was also there. Listen to your feelings, because they're going to lead you to greatness. Your body has existed for eons. Since the dawn of time, literally it has. All matter was created in this Big Bang. So it's important to realize your body knows what it needs. It's time to listen to it. Well, here's the problem. Not enough people are grounded in their bodies. Not enough people are tuned into their bodies. Not enough people are present in their bodies. How often are we running away? How often are we creating split personalities so that we don't have to exist in our present? Always dreaming about the future, the future, the future. Then when we get to the future, we're still dreaming about the future. Always mired in the past, in the past, in the past. Well, this is the present. Unless it's solution oriented, we don't need to be there anymore. We don't need to live there anymore because it's gone. What are we doing in the present? The present is the only space of time that truly you have any power. What does it matter about the future if you're not here creating in the present for that space? Life is a journey. It is not one focal point. In our solar system, we don't even have one focal point. It's an ellipsis, as most paths of rotation are in this galaxy. There are two focal points, one being the sun and the other being what scientists refer to as nothing, dark matter. Right now, the energy that we're coming into with this Ace of Swords energy here, it's imperative to understand the new forms of ideas that are going to be coming in, these new lifestyles that we're going to be birthing in this time. This is a sword. Swords relate to mental cognition, communication, understanding. The cosmic messenger, or the celestial messenger, because the cosmic messenger is light. So these new ideas, they're gonna be cutting these cords. What did I say? What did we say? What did we talk about? Protection, call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. Who are you? How long are you going to live like you're someone else? Call in that higher power. Don't call anybody else's higher power in, call in yours. This is your spiritual experience, and you're only going to get one of these. So you better make it worthwhile. I'm sorry, but the people who are concerned about what you've got going on, first of all, why do you care what those people think? They obviously have problems themselves if that they don't want to be focused on because they're focusing on you. Secondly, sucks to break this to you, but you're the only one who lives your life, so you just got to live it. No one else is going to experience the joy for you. No one else is going to experience the pain for you. You know this because you've been experiencing enough pain, right? And did anyone else experience for you? No, but they sure did hurt because you were hurt, right? We can do ourselves and on each other a big old favor by being honest with who we are and being honest with ourselves and one another. Stop creating false timelines. You wonder why you're so pulled apart, you're so distracted, you're so exhausted. How many lives are you living? Get aligned. And if you don't want to, you will. Because that's the nature of life. And if you don't do it in this lifetime, sucks to suck, right? Oh my God, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. I mean, those karmic soul contracts, they're dead now. So if it keeps happening from here on out, that's on you. I know, with great power comes great responsibility, but you wanted power. We know that from the last Venus retrograde, a year and a half ago in Scorpio. We wanted power. We wanted to be self-sovereign. We wanted autonomy, the masters of our domain. And now you have it. Are you going to use it to your benefit? Or are you going to continue to proliferate the injustices that you have said for so long that you did not want in your world? Ace of Swords. Venus retrograde in Gemini. There's no way that we can hide from that which has been disempowering us now. It's either gonna cure us or kill us. And it's really up to us to decide what that's gonna be like. So, really got a lot in here. We've examined the charts a few times. I think it's a safe bet to go ahead and move on to the new moon a little bit? Or we'll talk a little bit about the sun in Taurus chart, actually, because we do have a nice trine here that I'm excited about. So we have Venus making a trine to Venus in Gemini making a trine to Mercury in Aries, or making an aspect to Mercury in Aries. And Mercury in Aries is making an aspect to Aries in Aquarius, which is making an aspect to our friend Venus. And so I believe when I spoke about this last, we said Venus is sextiling Mercury, and Mars is sextiling Mercury. That is always good. And it's also trining Venus, which is also sextiling Lilith. So this is a very empowering moment for us, Taurus season. And it's important that you stay in your power. It's important that this is why it's important for us to ground ourselves. Get out all that excess energy that is not, conducive to the life that we want. Be conscious of your surroundings now. Let's look at where the moon is. It's in Pisces. This is a fantastic time in the most literal of ways. It's a fantasy. And our feelings are going to be what allows us to tune into that fantasy and manifest it in the present reality. So, let's pull a card. 9 of Wands in reverse from Tarot del Fuego. This is the first deck I ever had. It's a great deck. Ricardo Cavolo. See, this is the vacillation. This is not knowing what we want. We know what we want. Are we going to let it tear us apart? Because it's going to. Are we going to break through the bondage that we are now self-imposing? Because, liberation is only something you can give yourself. It doesn't matter how many doors are unlocked for you. Because if you really wanted it, you would look hard enough to know that there is a door. There is a key. It's somewhere. Ace of Swords. Where's Mercury? Mercury's in Aries. It's going to advance you to where you want to be. So it's really in your best interest to lean into it. Lean into your feelings. Make space for them. Ultimately, if you're not by now, you're just suffering yourself. Okay. We have Saturn here in Aquarius in the 5th house with Pluto and Jupiter. Malefics. 5th house has to do with our public persona. It's how we express ourselves. Right now, I would encourage everyone to lean in, give yourself a creative practice. lean into a creative practice. It's really going to liberate a lot of ideas for you. So if you feel moved to create, do so now. If you feel called to go on a journey within yourself, you probably are. I would encourage you to do so. And what I really mean by that is, yeah, fucking do psychedelics. Like, if you have the space and time to, do it. There's a lot of trauma that needs to be healed. All of us have a lot of trauma that needs healing. And as it goes, the medical institution, especially Johns Hopkins University, is doing a lot of work of pioneering in the medical institution, public facing, the use of psychedelics in the healing of mental illness. Now, I mean, we all know this because our ancestors have been doing this for however long, but I guess the white institutions just needed to like figure out how to make money off of it before they would allow us to be able to practice these things and control it. But hey, you know, moving forward, give yourself space and time to tap into yourself creatively, ease yourself in. Art therapy is going to be wonderful right now because guess what? We are actively sustaining trauma in this time. I know we don't want to talk about that, but it's true. And we're going to remember this for the rest of our lives. So give yourself a lot of help by making sure you're giving yourself space for healing. If you do it now, it's going to be a lot easier later. If you journal, that's really helpful. If you don't, now's the time to start. If you are someone who doesn't have a creative practice at all, time to find one. Watch videos online about artists and their creative practices, studio sessions, such things as that. Tune into those sorts of things to get inspired on how you can tap into your creative process, because this is really going to help us. Let's look to Fortuna. Fortuna is in the 11th house. Fortuna is in the 11th house, 29 degrees and 58 seconds in Cancer. Yes, it's time to express ourselves. Yes, it's time to tune into that nurturing spirit and nurture. It's time to give ourselves the love that, oh, wow, yes. Right there with the ascendant at 24 degrees and 36 seconds, right? Yep. This is really about making sure that we're tuned into our integrity. It's really about making sure that we are showing up as who we claim to be. And the best thing to do is to just show up as yourself. And if people can't accept that, then you've just got to go ahead and find other people. I promise you they're out there. I promise you that they exist. It's hard, I know, but you can find them. Today, I had the experience of realizing I was never going to find the community that I have if I had stayed in Maryland. I was never, ever going to. And who knows what would have became of me then. So it's important that we give ourselves space, because there are a lot of people who have so much to offer the world, and they get snuffed out because of how restrictive these social practices are. And I want to talk to the social practices specifically because, yeah, it's a lot of institutions, but we enforce the institution. It only takes us deciding internally within ourselves that we're not going to align with something for us to be able to shift the narrative. We have so much power, my friends. We have so much power. And so let's move ahead. Sun right there entering Taurus with Uranus, and it's going to be crazy. Yo, your life is going to change drastically in this time. Woo. Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? You know what it's been calling you to do, because it's been so loud. It's been so impossible to ignore. You know what it's been calling you to do. It's been coming to you in your dreams. It's been calling to you in your waking thoughts. It's inescapable. Why are you running? Submit. Submit. Are you going to live your life like this? Isn't that unpleasant? Ease. Life is easy. Life is easy. Life is easy. We are the arbiters of our own experience. We are the gatekeepers of our own experience. What are you allowing in? What are you allowing in? All right, let's move on to the new moon chart. We have a lot of aggression in this chart. Right off rip, I see red, red, red. All I see nothing but red. We have but one harmonious aspect, and that is between Mars in Aquarius and Venus in Gemini. And, you know, it's so lovely when they come together. It's just so lovely to have them making beautiful aspects to one another. And was this not the case in the other chart? It is the case in the other charts, also making a lovely aspect to one another. So here's a time where a lot of balance and a lot of harmony is being struck. And we see this happening, and this is carrying over from the last transits that we've been interacting with. Isn't the world just a little bit brighter? This week feels a lot lighter. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the astrology. Let's get into it. So aspect, they're making a lovely trine to one another. So that's a very easy, what did I say? Life is easy, right? It doesn't have to be so hard. And right now, if you just cut the cords, like it's going to go like ultraviolet. They cut the cords. Do it. Do it. Do it. But so I see a lot of tension with Pluto, which is in the 11th house in Capricorn. So it's a lot of karmic contract. Yeah. What are we going to do about those? What are we going to do about them? Cut the cords. Call back your power. Answer the call. You know, it's so clear. It's so clear. And the fun thing about this is this card is night and this card is so day. It's more day than day can be. Like these sherbet tones, cut the cords. What energies are we still allowing to feed us toxic nonsense? Cut the cords. Be the arbiter of a beautiful, wonderful experience. Be the one who decides what gets in and what doesn't. I've decided I'm going to paint a lovely desert scene on the bottom of this. I was wondering what I would paint, and that's what it's going to be. You know, it's, oh, this card wants to be seen. 3 of Wands. Ooh, it was just 4. Let's see what that angel number means. Well, that translates to 7, and we were just talking about 7, which is Libra, which is balance, air. Cut the cords. Find balance. You know you want to. Venus. Angel number 444, quadruple 4, signifies hard work. It's telling you that all your hard work will soon be paying off. If that major achievement is still a work in progress, the angel number quadruple 4 wants you to work harder than ever to make it happen. You have done so much work already to just give up now. Isn't it nice to think that tomorrow is a new day with no mistakes in it yet? Kind, sensitive, loyal, determined. For twin flames, we get this number wants you to remain happy and peacefully with your twin flame. Therefore, keep trust and believe in their blessings when they bring you the twin flame. What resonates now, what aligns now, go for that. We must work harder than ever. And, you know, it's not even really about working harder than ever. It's about working smarter than ever. This is why I'm saying with this manifestation practice, if you have not used or downloaded my manifestation planner on the Sad Girls Club website, go ahead and download that. And read up on how I explain the fundamental secrets to manifestation that people don't want you to know. And I know that a lot of people say that, but like, honestly, the people who are most famous for teaching manifestation, the secret and that stuff, you know, they talk about this stuff. It's true. It's very important that that is true. But like, some people are like, oh, do this way. Honestly, they don't tell you how easy it can be because, you know, they're not ethereal beings, so they don't understand how to make it easy. You can make your life super, super easy, but it takes doing rigorous shadow work, which means having a very authentic and true understanding of oneself. Queen of Cups in reverse. I need a clarifier. Ace of Cups in reverse. Ten of Swords in the direct position. Those are for me. I'm going to put those back into the deck. I think let's tune back into the chart. We have, of course, Fortuna on the ascendant in Pisces. Tapping into our mystical, what did I say about fantasy? You know, people are having a lot of weird dreams right now. The Star is the card that we get. Glow in the dark. I know that things are really hard right now, but you've got to set a standard for yourself. You've got to remember who you are and contextualize yourself. You know, remember your power. You're worth so much more than what you've been standing for. Ground that. Contextualize that. Ooh, we get the Emperor in reverse. Doesn't the Emperor look so much like the devil? Oh, yes. Break those old soul contracts. What I would say for you to do with this new moon, one, is download that manifestation planner. Sit down with it. You need to be doing that throughout all of this, honestly. The soul searching that you're looking for, if you don't have a structured practice, there's one right there for you. If you don't understand intentionality, if you don't understand manifestation, if you don't understand intentionality, you don't understand manifestation. And this is the problem, that people don't teach intentionality, but also because people don't teach science. This is literally science. So there's just gonna, you know, that's why I started off talking about charges. What is the charge that you're putting into something? You're communicating energy. And we're all becoming that much more attuned to energy on a more physical level. And we've always been attuned into energy, but we've been so tuned into our minds that we forgot to tune into our bodies. And most of us don't even understand our bodies. Most people don't even know. There are a lot of women who don't even know where a clitoris is. There are a lot of people who never put their fingers inside of their orifices. I'm sorry, but for you to have good health, you need to start checking inside of your orifices. And there are a lot of people who don't because they're afraid to. So there are a lot of men who get colon cancer and prostate cancer because they're afraid of their own bodies. There are a lot of people who abuse their bodies with, trigger warning, I'm going to be talking about mental health in regards to disordered eating. There are a lot of people, so if you want to take a few minutes to pause or whatever, you can do that. There are a lot of people who abuse their bodies in order to fit rigorous standards. And there's no way that you really have an intimate understanding of your body if you're able to progress in this way, because you have to be tuning out of your body. You have to be tuning into your mind. Tune back into your body. It is your home. It's the one thing that's yours, and even then it's not really yours. Tune into your body. Ground into your body. It is Taurus season. And we have this new moon in Taurus. So obviously it's conjunct the sun. They're sitting in the second house, which is ruled by Taurus, with Mercury and with Lilith and with Uranus. There's a lot of cosmic and karmic upset that's going to be happening here, because we are taking control in our lives and exercising our autonomy. And we're going to see how good that feels, because we're going to see how transformative it is, and how when we transform the spaces around us by enacting our power, that transforms us. Hey, what do you know, when you do things that make you happy, you feel happy? Who would have thought that? And guess what? To be able to do that forever is on offer now. We're seeing how unstable this system was to begin with. There's going to be seismic change that happens after this. And I, for one, am super excited about it. So, what else have we got? Not much else to say. Let's pull one more. The ever unfolding rose, cracked open, it's happening for you, not to you. My friends who are ascending right now, it's so beautiful. I know how exhausting it feels because and a lot of the when is this going to be over sort of feeling is because we want to get back to our normal lives. But ultimately, this is your normal life. This is you. This is going to happen to you throughout your life. So you better start figuring out how to make your life a friendly space for it. And there's really not much more, that can be said about that. Dive in. Lean into who you are. Allow yourself to unfold, unfurl. Allow yourself to flow. We want to see the river. You know what hops up around a river? Civilization. Build your own world. It's on offer always, always. What are you going to do with it? And I thank you all for tuning in. I just want to ground my energy, and we can all ground our energy together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a deep inhale and breathe out. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to feel myself elongating my spine into the earth and just sending that energy down my back. Inhale in and breathe out. Feel yourself get in alignment. Release whatever needs to go out of you. Don't hold anything in. I want to thank you all once again. I love you all truly and deeply. I want to say, if you'd love to donate to Clarity Care Network, information's in my bio. Also at Vicious Pro, VICIOUSSPRO. I love you all truly and deeply.